superhero movies. And the reason why I want to talk about superhero movies is because I was watching one last night. And just the whole current state of the superhero movie franchise or franchises. Seeing that there's a bunch of dogs in the race. We got Fox doing X-Men movies and Deadpool movies. We all know that Disney has got a hold of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is doing really well right now. And then you got Warner Brothers, who has always had a hold on the Batman, Superman franchises, and anything DC Comics. And the reason why I brought it up is because obviously we know that the majority of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies are doing very well. And I'm definitely a fan. Not a fan of all of them. There have been some stinkers. They've actually released some that just really are horrible. But the majority of them are actually pretty great. DC, on the other hand, with Warner Brothers, lately with the Man of Steel, the Dark Knight series, everybody unanimously agrees they're great. They were great for the Batman franchise. They were also great for Christopher Nolan's career. Brought to the limelight someone who already had been making movies, but not until the Dark Knight series has he really received the attention he deserves. But these new set of movies, where he happens to be the co-writer and producer, which is the Man of Steel series and Batman v Superman, call it what you want, but after the Man of Steel came out, a lot of people were thinking this was going to be a Man of Steel 2. And after watching it, I'm kind of convinced that that's what it kind of was. I know that this is supposed to be the Dawn of Justice. Be like 0.5 to the Justice League movies, as they're trying to catch up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Completely understandable. Yeah, but they've been having a hard time. Definitely with the critics. The critics are harsh. Personally, my take on it is, I'm not down on the movies like the critics are. I actually like them. Personally, the Man of Steel, I like that movie a lot. I liked it a lot. A lot of people didn't, and I think that has to do with him killing Zod in the end, or him stealing clothes after he saves those guys on that oil rig out in the ocean. But just based on the circumstances, what else would this guy do? Based on the circumstances, and there's all kinds of conversations all over YouTube about it. But I thought it was great. Of course, the visual effects were great, but I think it was one of the better renditions of Superman, because he can't always be super campy. Christopher Reeve did a great job. And those movies were great for the time, but I think these ones just fit better. And if you read the comic books are animated without a doubt, but they weren't campy. The comic books were always written with a serious tone. They're written with a serious drama type of feel to them. And if you could film what was being illustrated in the comic books, you'd get exactly what you're seeing in these DC films that you're getting now. People are very upset that they're so dark. I don't know. Can't say I agree. I don't think it's overly dark. I don't think it's too much. I just think that for the situation and the circumstances that they give Superman and Batman in Batman vs. Superman, I think that it's fine. I think they just overdid it with the Batman v Superman thing. Like, if you read the comics, if you follow any of what was written, you'd understand that, yeah, they fight each other in the graphic novel, but it's not where they're at war with each other. And I knew that going in, and I knew that that wasn't going to be a big deal. My son was like, well, who do you think's going to win, Dad? And I'm like, it's not going to be like that. You know, they're going to fight, and then they're going to realize that they're on the same team, and then they're going to fight a bad guy together. And that's what it was. And I so wish that that bad guy was not Doomsday. You know, me and my buddy at work were talking about this, and Doomsday deserved his own movie. You know, this is the alien that killed Superman, and it wasn't by kryptonite. They beat each other to death. And I just kind of think that this one felt more along the lines of like Amazing Spider-Man 2. My whole beef with that movie is that they just packed way too much into one short movie, you know. And not only that, just like in Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Electro, man, they gave this guy so much power. He wasn't like the comic book version at all. The comic book version, you just had the power of electricity. He could shock you and stuff. Whereas this Electro, man, he could travel through electrical currents. And with that kind of power, I mean, the guy's power was pretty much limitless, and you couldn't kill him. But, you know, of course, you know, Spider-Man finds a way to kill him, and he's done with pretty quickly. Just one decent fight scene, and it's over pretty quick. And then another major Spider-Man villain, the Green Goblin, is seen and then defeated in a matter of minutes. And then another one of Spider-Man's major nemesis, the Rhino, just gets a short cameo. And then that's it. And I know they were trying to lay the groundwork for another movie which never got the go-ahead. But in my opinion, it's because they stuffed way too much in that one. I actually was starting to like it until the end, and then they just let me down. And I think that that's what they did with Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. I thought Wonder Woman was great, man. They made her real strong, real powerful. And I think that was great. I think the way they led into her was perfect, you know. They didn't give us too much. They gave us just enough. I just wish that they would have chose like a different villain. And then the reveal. I did not like the reveal of the other Justice League members. You know, where Wonder Woman is sitting there at her computer and she's looking over the files that were given to her by Bruce Wayne. And she just sees these video clips that surfaced of these metahumans. I personally like the way they did it with the Avengers and how they introduced you to each and every one of the characters separately. But they didn't have to go through a whole long backstory. All they had to do was just simply just introduce you to them. And yeah, they all had their own movie previously. And DC, that's the problem that DC is facing right now. But overall, I think that DC has a lot of catching up to do, and hopefully I hope they don't make a lot of cinematic mistakes in telling the story of these characters. I mean, DC characters are widely beloved by the fans, and so I just hope that they're not butchered. I mean, I was always a Marvel fan growing up, but I was a X-Men Marvel fan. I was deeply into X-Men and Spider-Man. And pretty much everybody else, especially like the Avengers. I was definitely not an Avengers fan. I wasn't a big Avengers fan because they just weren't interesting to me. Especially Iron Man. I did not like Iron Man in the comics at all. He was just boring. And the way he was animated was whack. But in the movies, they just totally reinvented him. He was just better on the silver screen than he was on the paper. But when it comes to DC characters, especially these DC characters, you're talking about Superman and Batman. Batman is my favorite of the DC characters. I used to watch that cartoon growing up. And obviously, you know, growing up here in America, hey, Superman is the man. Whether you were into comics or not, you definitely knew about Superman. And I need to get around this truck. Drop it 2 gears and let's go. Yeah, no, sorry about the wind noise. But woo, woo. Oh, meow, meow. It's funny because I'm doing that, and that's actually the soundtrack for whenever Wonder Woman came out. That was just like the most exciting part about the score is her fighting music. But yeah, anyway, so that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on the whole comic book thing. I hate this road. It's full of potholes, but it's the road I need to take to get to work. So I'm playing the game of, dodge the hole, dodge the cracks. There's one jacked up road, man. Yeah, there it is. So, it's kind of fun though sometimes, just dodging the holes. Just hopefully, whoa, I don't drop into a huge one. I was over here in my car yesterday, and that was a huge one, right where your tire goes. And that sucked. Yeah, that was it. I don't see it till right when I'm almost on it, because I'm doing like 64, 65 back here. Cool thing is that when you're going so fast, you kind of just float right over it. But to finish off this video, yeah, the whole comic book cinematic universe I think is going well for the most part. And I made this video because a lot of people were downing the recent releases of the DC movies. They've been praising Captain America Civil War, and I gotta say that I really like that movie a lot. It was great. The Russo brothers are the golden boys for Disney right now. The Russo brothers are the directors of that movie, and the Winter Soldier as well, and they did a fantastic job. And they will also be directing the new Avengers movies.